What you do first is you pick a place to make your gnocchi, and normally next to the stove is best. And we put a tablecloth to help make cleanup easier, but you don't have to. And you flour that to help it so that the gnocchi does not stick to whatever you're working on. The three main ingredients are 1 jumbo egg, 16 ounces of flour, and 6 pounds of baking potato with nutmeg and salt to flavor it. What you do next is you bake potatoes until when you stick something in it comes out clean, and then you split them in half lengthwise, scoop out the insides, and use a ricer to help make your potatoes nice and fine for the gnocchi. Using the ricer makes it easier for you to later work with it. And what you want to do is you want to continue doing that until you have 3 pounds of potatoes, and it can be a little more or less. This next step is up to you. If you want to add some nutmeg, what you do is you take the whole nutmeg and you grate it into your potatoes, and you can do as much or as little as you like. And then after that, you take 1 egg and you mix it in with your potatoes, but you do this really gently and light so that you don't smush the potatoes, and make sure you get every last bit of the egg out of the bowl when you do it. When you are working with the egg mixture, when you're done, you want to take about half a teaspoon of salt and add that into your potato and egg mixture. And then after that, you want to take the flour and you want to slowly add it until you are at a consistency that you like it to be. You then work with your hands to get the dough into one ball, and you knead that together for a little bit just to make sure that everything is completely combined. What you do next is you go to your floured workstation and you take clumps of the dough and you roll them out until they are in your desired thickness in a nice strand. And you want to make sure that you keep the thickness the same for all of them, or as close to the same thickness as possible. Gnocchi can also be made with ricotta, puff pastry sheets, different starchy vegetables. There are just so many different ways to make it, but potato has always been my family's favorite, and that's how I learned to make it. What you do next is you cut them to about 1/4 inch thick. It can be a little thicker, a little thinner, dependent on how thick your strand is. After you cut them, you have to roll them out, and you want to make sure you push down hard and there's a thumbprint and ridges, and you can either use a gnocchi board, which is seen here, which is a wooden board with grooves, or you can use a fork, although the fork is harder to do than the gnocchi board. Then you want to put your gnocchi into boiling water. They splash up a lot, and so it's really important to be careful, and you can either do it with a plate or with your slotted spoon. And they start to float when they're done cooking, so it's really easy to tell when they're done. Then you take them out, and you want to make sure that you drain all of the liquid so that your pan does not get too liquidy, so you can add sauce and other things. And the reason they have the ridges is to soak up the sauce. This recipe has been passed down through generations, and my nonna taught my dad, and my dad taught me and my brother, and it's just a dish that we have at every family get together.